Hey, boxing fans, this is LeRoy Peters, and this is the 8th episode of the World of Boxing according to LeRoy. I know I've been gone for a while. Sorry about that. I'm here to talk about the rematch between Alexander Povetkin and Dylan Whyte yesterday, and also the return of Artur Beterbiev. Last week we did receive the return of reigning WBC IBF light heavyweight champion and lineal light heavyweight champion Artur Beterbiev. After after being gone for well over a year, he defeated Adam Diaz by a 10th round knockout. Not one of Beterbiev's best performances. Uh, he, um, he looked like he could have taken Diaz out anytime he wanted to early rounds, but he was recovering from COVID, so I'm sure that played a part. But a lot of people, including myself, feel that Beterbiev is, and rightfully so, is number one light heavyweight on the planet. There's talk of him possibly fighting the winner of the Joe Smith Jr. Maxime Vlasov fight which is for the vacant WBO light heavyweight title in a unification bout. More on that later. And there's talk that when Canelo Alvarez is done trying to unify the super middleweight division, after you choose gold, moving back up to light heavyweight and fighting Beterbiev. Um, that's a very interesting fight. I mean, Beterbiev is 36. He's still in his prime. Um, Youth is not on his side, and him against Canelo, even though it'd be an interesting fight, I'd have to give a slight edge to Canelo because he's got youth on the side. Canelo's only 30, and it'll be very interesting to see what could happen. Beterbiev is a come at you, right in front of you type of fighter, and so is Canelo. And who knows what could happen in that fight? Yesterday we saw Dylan Whyte get revenge on Alexander Povetkin. It was August of last summer. Povetkin got up from 2 knockdowns in the 4th round to knock out Dylan Whyte with an uppercut in the 5th round to win the WBC interim heavyweight title. Yesterday, Dylan Whyte got his revenge and knocked Povetkin out in the 4th round to reclaim the interim heavyweight title for the WBC and put himself as the number one contender for the WBC title to hopefully face the winner of the Tyson Fury Anthony Joshua fight. For those of you who don't know, speaking of that fight, Anthony Joshua, who's the IBF, WBA, WBO, and IBO heavyweight champion, and Tyson Fury, who's the WBC, Lineal, and Ring Magazine heavyweight champion, have signed to face each other in a unification fight to unify all 4 belts. The contracts are signed, but for those contracts stay binding, unfortunately, they need to find a place to have the event happen. Joshua's promoter Eddie Hearn is very optimistic that right now that there's strong possibility of the fight happening in Wembley Stadium in London. He said he has got some offers to fight in Saudi Arabia and somewhere else, but with the COVID pandemic and everything, Tyson Fury and his people aren't all that optimistic, even though they already signed the contract. I'm hoping that the fight happens. They're planning on having it either June or July, and I would like to see an undisputed unified heavyweight champion. I'm a big fan of Anthony Joshua. I want him to win. I don't think he's gonna win though, because Tyson Fury has proven me wrong time and time again and won fights that he's supposed to lose. Um, Upcoming fights. Next month in April 3rd, we'll see Jamal Herring defend his WBO junior lightweight title against Carl Frampton on ESPN Plus. April 10th, as mentioned earlier, Joe Smith Jr., the dark horse of the light heavyweight division, will be facing Maxine Vlaslov for the vacant WBO light heavyweight title. Now, Joe Smith Jr., as I mentioned, I feel is the dark horse of the light heavyweight division, and there's talk of him if he wins facing Beterbiev in a unification fight. I think before he does, I honestly believe before he does that, I put this on Twitter, Joe Smith Jr. should get a rematch with Sullivan Barrera and avenge his loss to Barrera, and also try to get a unification fight in a rematch against Dmitry Bivol, the WBA light heavyweight champion. I think Smith should try to avenge at least two of his three losses. Ironically, interestingly, I recently got a Twitter text from Sullivan Barrera saying that he's asked to have a rematch with Joe Smith Jr. and Joe Smith Jr.'s people said no. So that's some food for thought. Um, as mentioned, also in May, as mentioned earlier, Canelo Alvarez is fighting who's the WBA WBC super middleweight champion, is facing Billy Joe Saunders, who's the WBO super middleweight champion, in a unification fight, and that should be a very interesting matchup. I've seen both men fight, and if I was a gambling man, I put my money on Canelo Alvarez. I think Canelo Alvarez is just too much power and also is too cunning for Billy Joe Sanders. Billy Joe Sanders doesn't have the punching power. I don't think he has the strength to keep Canelo Alvarez off him. What I personally would like to see is Canelo Alvarez fight Triple G again and prove to the world, and me especially, that he legitimately beat Triple G in both those fights. I honestly don't believe he beat Triple G. I believe Triple G beat him twice, but was robbed. So, but that's my opinion. That's it for today. Please get if you haven't gotten vaccinated yet, please do get vaccinated. I've already been vaccinated twice. Continue to wear your masks, and I hope you all have a blessed day. This is LeRoy Peters with the World of Boxing according to LeRoy, episode 8, and you have a good day.